All right. Welcome to the latest edition of the FPL America podcast. This is David Smith.
Travis Hoig.
Brian Shesko.
Gentlemen, what a wild weekend of football.
Why don't you tell us about it?
We will get into that very quickly. So much has happened. I feel like we recorded late last week, and then we're recording early this week due to the Thanksgiving holidays.
Way too early for my taste.
Way too early. We would love to record later in the week.
It works.
After some European games. I am leaving town tomorrow, and you guys know what happens when I leave. And Travis and Brian,
you find a fountain somewhere to park next to.
Are left to pod by themselves, and or I call in next to a fountain that can be heard in the background. So we wanted to try to avoid all that and just dive right into it. The match week currently got over today as United and Everton finished up their match.
It wasn't,
and gentlemen,
that was awesome.
It just completely wrapped a bow on one of the wildest Premier League weekends results-wise that no one saw coming. I mean, bettors probably took it on the chin this weekend because things happened that no one ever saw coming. So, unexpected insanity is the first subject of our discussions tonight, and I don't even know where to start, Brian. I mean, the match week started.
Why don't you start with your team and get it out of the way? I have a lot of other like FPL or transfer related questions for you, but I mean, you're maintaining. But even for you, the Arsenal result was an odd result.
For sure. So going into the Sunday main match, it was a North London derby. And what happened Saturday made that day that much bigger because Arsenal has a chance to put some distance between them and Liverpool. And I know that everyone's going to say Liverpool has lost now 6 out of 7 in the Premier League. They're not even in the race. I just want to remind everybody, and that might be true at this point, okay? But until this past weekend, until that happened, I think people could argue that this is a team, obviously, that won the league last year. Yes, some of the personnel is different. Manager's the same. They have players who have won titles, whether it's Champions League, whether it's Premier League. So this is not a lot of just mucks. Like, they are experienced, they're talented, and I don't think anyone should count them out. Therefore, the result that happened this past weekend was absolutely shocking. And then City goes and loses to Newcastle, which, I mean, I said on this pod last week, Brian, you said City's not losing to this Newcastle, and talk about in ways Brian's dumb, which that might be the only dumb thing you said last week on the pod, but you said they shouldn't, Holland's going to be fine against this Newcastle.
Yeah, I think that was the
and that's a totally fair statement.
I didn't think that Newcastle would be that big of a... Not that they wouldn't be a challenge because they're still really good. It's just that they've been so inconsistent.
No, I agree.
I didn't watch it, and I would say that seems like there was a ton of controversy in that match.
Well, no. And we'll get to that match in a second. Right. We'll get to that match because there's a lot to discuss in that match. But, the Burnley-Chelsea match started the weekend off, and...
that was as predictable a one as you could have done.
A little bit, but Burnley was unfairly not given a penalty early in that match. And look, we all know that this is not a brilliant insight here into the world of football, but goals change things. So one goal goes in on a Burnley PK early, and all of a sudden that game could be different. West Ham has a 2-0 lead on Bournemouth, and they make some questionable substitutions, and next thing you know, Bournemouth ties it up late. And then Brighton is playing Brentford. You would say on paper, Brighton probably favored a little bit there. Brighton's at home. Brighton's been really good at home. Brighton's up 2-1, or Brentford goes up 1-0. Brighton battles back.
Yeah.
And then Brentford misses the same guy who hit the
Penalty.
first PK, Thiago, only behind Holland in the league for goals,
I blame rain on that one.
ends up missing a second penalty. And so and then Fulham's playing Sunderland. They're 0-0. Raul gets a late goal to win that for Fulham. That brings us to the Nottingham Forest Liverpool match, where shockingly Forest somehow pulls out a 3-0 victory. And
do you want to leave before we talk about that, or do you?
No, I mean,
we'll get to it. I'm just kind of summarizing here how wacky the morning was. This is all Saturday.
Make sure he's okay. I don't want to.
I didn't
drag him
into
it.
I told you guys earlier I didn't have a chance to watch hardly any matches this game week, so I know very little about anything.
Then that brings us to the morning match of of Leeds versus Villa. And Leeds goes out and gets up early. They're up 1-0 on Villa. And then this is a Villa team up to this point that had won 5 out of 6 games. And Villa turns it around, and they end up winning 2-1.
Well, Morgan Rogers showed up for the first time this season is what it was.
Yeah, Morgan Rogers hit one of the wilder free kicks.
How do you get it up and down that fast?
I guess it's a thing. I'm not kidding, because I dove deep into a lot. My family's out of town, so I watched a lot of videos on a lot of different subjects. It's called a Dippy. It's something that they practice, but not everyone can do.
I've never seen anybody get it up and down that fast.
Well, I was glad they showed that
the
afterwards
week before,
to show. Yeah, Buendia's.
Buendia did it.
I missed that.
Morgan Rogers, he did it against Bournemouth, but did not look as good as Rogers did. Buendia's looked a little bit more normal. Rogers looked like it was not a chip shot, but it had
so much pace on it.
The ball in the air looked like a chip shot, but it had the pace, way more pace. Anyway, and then that brings us to what Brian actually asked me about, the Arsenal-Tottenham game. And look, I felt pretty confident, but going into that game, that Arsenal could if you would have put me on it, I think Brian and I talked about it a little bit before, I probably would have predicted 1 or 2-0. But
yeah, the official bet is that this was Arsenal's back-to-back clean sheets, that they would have 2,
right?
Or at least that they would have 1 in the next 2 games, and
it didn't happen this game.
It didn't happen in this one, which is where I thought it was.
Should have happened. But anyways, the final result ended up being 4-1, and I don't think any Arsenal. I think I did hear some Arsenal fans saying that 3-1, they thought it would be a 3-1 game. I did not. I thought that it would. You
have to go back a ways to find a game where either Spurs or Arsenal won that big, really beat the other side.
I think it was like 70 years. The last time there was a hat trick in a North London derby was 50 years ago. So, like this in the man of the match was Eberechi Eze, who ends up getting a hat trick. And honestly, I saw it happen, and I'm like, give me 4, because I'm one of only a few in our mini league. I think it's actually maybe me and League Ben, maybe one other person. I think Jeffrey has him, Eze as well. But if you had Eze this week, you had a great fantasy week. You can look at the scores and see if someone has an elevated score, they had Eze, period. Like that is the biggest defining factor in fantasy scores this week. I ended up with a 65. I was highest in the mini league. League Ben had a 64. I think League Jeffrey had a 59. So, it was that type of a week. Otherwise, you probably were just probably close to average or maybe a little bit above, depending on your lineup. I was going
to say, I think Munoz could have punched that up a little bit.
That's true.
Too.
That's true. If you had Munoz.
That was a trendy one of the
But
top,
his ownership is, I would guess, is at least 15 to 20%. Maybe, I don't know. It might be too high. Maybe not. If only there was a way.
You have to go back to, actually it was
19.7.
2022 is the last time you had a game. Arsenal won 3-1 in 2022. So that's the last time where it's like, it's a little bit on the lopsided.
Okay,
like you've had two
what
nils.
You said 1907 for what?
19.7.
19.7. Oh, ownership.
For Munoz.
Ownership for Munoz.
Versus
okay, so
14 and some change for Eze.
Okay.
Dave, the 2022 calendar year, so spring 2022 and then fall 2022, if you could relive that, I'm sure those were two fantastic Spurs and Arsenal teams. But Spurs won the game in May against Arsenal 3-0.
Yeah,
and then
I heard a lot of talk.
Fall was 3-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, it was.
So that was. I would imagine that was.
I'm pretty sure 22 they were finishing higher than us in the table. I mean that was when we were finishing in like 8th place.
Yeah. Anyway, just it's been a while since there was a hearty beat down like that. But
no,
still,
seriously,
that's why I don't.
It rarely ever happens, and so I think I think some people started feeling a little confident when they saw Spurs lineup, seeing that they were playing 3 center backs.
Yeah,
and they were gonna. I'm sort of signaling to everyone they're gonna kind of pack it in a little bit, and. A couple interesting things hearing from post-match interviews. Number one, Eze discussing how he had been working hard at finding the proper positions that he needed to be in. So at Palace, I don't know exactly what the tactics were. I think there was a little bit more freedom where Eze could move and what he was able to do. In
especially
the Arsenal,
without Elise.
Right, correct. So then with Arsenal, learning obviously what they do in a new system, there's certain spaces he needs to be in order to be able to receive the ball. In multiple games this year, I had been frustrated as an Arsenal fan watching him because he absolutely looked lost. There was entire halves of games where it seemed like it was so obvious that he was in the wrong spot. And so I legitimately think he was lucky, sort of, that Odegaard had been out, gave him time to adjust. Now, he's the type of player that many people refer to him as a maverick, that he has the type of ability where he can make something out of nothing. And he and Trossard might be some of the only players on Arsenal that can do that. A lot of the guys are fairly systematic, I think, in a lot of the ways that they play. Sometimes Saka can make something out of nothing, but Eze can legitimately, as like a magician, make something happen out of nothing. And so I just thought that was super interesting hearing him say that he had been working really hard at getting in the right positions in order to be able to receive the ball and then score. And then when we're watching the game, and if you've seen the highlights, it's like he is in the perfect position every single time to receive the ball. And I think that's something he had actively been working on. Fantasy-wise, looking forward, I had been considering selling him. After hearing him say that and after watching the hat trick, I'm like, well, wait a minute now. If he's starting to figure out his positioning, is that something I need to sell? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out at the moment. Obviously, he's still in my team. The other thing I heard, and Brian and I watched this game together at my house, it was interesting to hear Arteta say after the game, he pretty much was thinking about this game the entire break, and he had been preparing for this game pretty much the entire break, and I think trying to figure out probably what Thomas Frank would do and how they wanted to handle it. I think he figured correctly that they were going to possibly play 5 at the back and or 3 center backs, and what he constantly had Marino doing was drifting back to receive the ball. The first goal came from a pass from Marino over the top to Trossard as Trossard looked in, and Marino moving back, he literally left 3 center backs not guarding anybody. Yeah. And when he drops back, he's literally receives the ball in space with no one around him. Time to look up, think, look at Trossard. He's got Trossard on the wing, along with Eze on the other side, no one in the middle because those 3 center backs are now guarding no one because Marino just dropped back and no one came with him. And then he's able to make that pass, and all of a sudden one goal ends up opening the game up.
Did you hear anyone griping about all the open play goals that they scored?
I heard no one complaining about open play goals.
Because it seemed like this game was this was the magic of football like all of their open play, passing, all of their trickery,
right?
It all worked.
Yeah, right.
So Spurs, whether they weren't up for it or they just weren't tactically prepared for it, or if it just was Arsenal just executed so perfectly.
I think they executed perfectly.
And that's exactly it. It's just they just got carved to pieces.
Yeah.
And then the third goal, they were right. Like the third goal right after halftime, like coming out sleepwalking, and you get scored on almost instantly after halftime, and of course that's game over.
It just made me think too. Like I even mentioned to Brian, like this is not an NFL podcast, but there's certain NFL coaches in American football who are really good after their bye week. In other words, they don't have a week, they get to rest, and then they get to plan for their next game. Andy Reid with the Chiefs, formerly Eagles, probably one of the best records coming off a bye week of any coach ever in the league. And it just felt like Arteta had, extra time to prepare for this match, and they just did a bang up job.
Yeah.
They play this week in Europe, correct?
Yes. They play Bayern on Wednesday.
So we can talk all about that in a minute.
We'll talk about that when we remember.
Well, I do want to. I don't want to talk about that specifically, but I do want to ask the question: do you think that the match against Bayern is going to throw off preparation for their next match in the league?
I think
given that
the Chelsea game is more important than the Bayern game.
You think so?
I literally will put no stake on the Bayern game because they're still going to finish in the top 8 in Champions League. So the Bayern game might as well be it's not an expedition, an exhibition game. The Chelsea game, playing number 2 in the league, if you can beat Chelsea, you can put 9 points between you and Chelsea. It's currently 6. And then even if Liverpool and City win, it's still 7 and 11 points in between Liverpool and City, and then you can put 9 points between you and Chelsea. That Chelsea game, way more important.
Do we know
than the Bayern game? But look, everyone's already talked about this. Everyone knows about this. Arsenal has a very deep team. Brian and I were talking briefly about what we think the lineup will be. I think it'll be Marino at the striker. I think it'll be Madueke on the right. I think it'll be Martinelli on the left. And the midfield will probably be the same. It'll probably be Zubamendi and Eze and Rice. And the back line will probably be Saliba, Hincapie, Miles Skelly, and it might be Timber. Timber might make it till halftime, and then it'll be Ben White. If Ben White doesn't start, and it'll probably be Ryan goal. It might be Kepa, but it'll probably be Ryan. It might be Kepa actually, which is fine. So I think there will absolutely be some rotation, but I don't think Arsenal care as much about that. They shouldn't care as much. A lot of people are billing it as two of the top teams in Europe currently going at each other, and Arsenal get Bayern at home. Bayern has given us spankings in the Champions League in the knockout stages over the last 6 years. So maybe 8 years because some of those years we weren't in it. But in no way, if Arsenal go out and lose that game to Bayern, I will not care. Their goal, I think, is the Chelsea match. That is the important match coming up. Making sure we're, whatever healthy looks like, that we're ready to play the Chelsea match. That's my opinion.
And don't pick up any new injuries. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, that's good. I agree. Weird weekend. Was not. I mean, as far as FPL is concerned, I was not. I was hoping for more today from Manchester United. A dismal Manchester United performance, back to the worst that they've been in a long time. A lot of complaining about for Manchester United fans, I think, after what looked like a pretty good run of form for them. But even that today.
Yeah, sure. Bumo owners, you have Bumo and Bruno. Of course, you're disappointed in Bruno had some fantastic shots.
Bruno missed a great chance. Finishes on 11 defensive contributions. Needs 12, so even the 4 would have been better than the 2. Went against the Holland captain this week. I did, and put it on Bruno. Same result, and yes, the exact same, like you said, right there, bang average. again. Actually, 1 point below average finishes the week. So great result, and I'm really glad that the process worked so well for this side of it.
Obviously, some people, my brother who included, who has sworn off FPL at this point and has also sworn off watching a Liverpool match until they win again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
So he not happy.
So
bad weekend for brother Matt. His daughter's team, this is not a girls soccer podcast.
It is
Good
now.
try.
But she was playing in a state semifinal against a team they had beaten. I think they had played twice, and they had beaten a total of 9-0. And they had probably close to, he said, 20 shots in the game, hit the bar 3 times.
Yikes.
And in the last minute of the game, defender misplays a ball for the first time all game. Girl runs in. She taps it around the goalkeeper who was running out. And they end up having the only shot in the game ends up being in the last minute of the game where she was able to get it in. And it was that. So that was on top of the Liverpool loss.
Piled it on.
And it was just a pile on. And it was just a miserable game. I called him and he texted me back and he goes, I don't want to talk anything football. He goes, I don't want to talk Liverpool. And then he writes a description of what happened in his daughter's game, and he goes, "I'm done." I'm like,
over it.
I didn't even respond. I just let it go. I get it.
It doesn't take much to get him worked up, though. So
no, and
definitely,
it's funny.
Definitely was bad.
He said he was more mad at the game than probably some of the girls were. Like,
that sounds about right.
Which I get, but look, as a coach and or father of a game, Travis, you're a coach. You know. Having that type of a game, my gosh, can
That's
be
true.
so
Travis is a coach of a small
he is a certified card holding coach.
And yet
They don't give you cards.
Travis has never once tried to turn this into a small boys soccer.
It should be. We should absolutely talk that. Anyway, so
a great way to transition to our how we were smart and how we were stupid from last week. Because my number one thing on the list was Virgil van Dijk. Not just my call, but this podcast call.
Absolutely. Brian, you asked me, and I said there's nothing I want part of Liverpool defense. Travis, you said the same thing.
Yeah.
Brian, you were saying other pundits out there.
I'm saying that if you looked at, I don't know, take the top 100 content creators out there, and 97 of them said the clear Gabriel replacement. The number one Gabriel replacement is Virgil van Dijk. Every single person I saw saying, get Virgil. He was, because of the green color-coded matchup rater and because of all of the pressure from all of the pundits, I was tempted. I ended up not making a move to get rid of Gabriel. I'm really eating the price.
It looks good now. It looks like the right call now. I will say that just like so many of the other teams, I think there is a very strong air of inconsistency about a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Liverpool has been very consistent, I think. But the fact that they can put in the performances like they did against Villa, like they did against Real Madrid, like they have on a number of occasions in Champions League, tells us that they can perform. It's more a matter of when are they going to actually perform.
I was shocked, Travis. Right. I'm not kidding. I didn't even...
Yeah.
I think I even said on the pod last week, what are they going to do? Lose to Nottingham Forest at home? I literally,
it's certainly
and I'm not
possible because they did it last year.
I know, but like this, different teams, different managers. I'm looking at it like it's just totally. I don't know. I was absolutely shocked, and I'm not trying to throw shade in any way at Liverpool's result. I don't know, man. I just didn't see it coming. 2 losses in a row. This is going to sound like I'm trying to heap coals on, but I'm not.
No.
By 3-0 to City, which maybe you could kind of see that. Maybe
another
at
inconsistent
City,
team.
But then at home at Anfield, Liverpool never gets smacked at home. And
we have a pretty consistent run of form at home to the point where we set pretty strong records of wins or no losses at home.
I would argue that Anfield, I think, is the hardest place to play anywhere in the Premier League, and I don't think it's close.
I think it's up there. There's a couple of places that are
Hold on, where?
Pretty tough.
I want to tell me where. St. James is tough.
I do think St. James is up there. I think St. James is definitely up there. There's a couple of others that are but, I mean, no one, loud.
I just feel like Anfield has like a aura, fear about.
Yeah.
Holy frick, we're going to Anfield this week. Good luck. And I don't care what Liverpool team it is.
Yeah, that's just kind of how it is. And ultimately, again, like it's the season that we're in. I'm not surprised by anything. So when I saw the score, it was like, I didn't even need to look. Like it was just, yeah.
I was watching it and I was like, this is crazy.
There was one. I would love to find it. I wasn't
even like. I mean, honestly, at the end, I did have a small smile, but not in a necessarily a hateful way. It was almost like I kind of can't believe what I'm watching.
Yeah.
There was one person. I said, like, of all the content creators, almost everyone suggested or demanded that Virgil. I cannot find it. This is why I feel like I've been,
Matt.
No, I feel like I've been doing a better job when I see something that I'm like, oh, I think I want to reference that. No, there was one content creator that I saw that just issued the word of caution on teams that Liverpool that they easily beat last season that already so far this season. I mean, that's just numbers. Like they were struggling against like a team like Bournemouth that they might have easily defeated last season. Bournemouth gives them a hard time. Brentford, another, an obvious one. And just saying, like, don't go rushing out. I would say just the eye test of it and just the inconsistency of the performances. It's the reason why I would say I don't, as much as you want to look at fixtures and say, hey, Manchester City might have great fixtures upcoming. How many more seasons do you have to see them concede a cheap goal to someone to say that you have any confidence in them keeping clean sheets? I don't know how you possibly could.
Right.
But this season it's been particularly bad for Liverpool. The underlying numbers are still pretty good for them overall. It's just that they are just not clicking, not playing hard enough, not doing almost anything right. Like they just look so I don't know. They just look terrible. Right
Travis, is this a Liverpool segment?
No, the other just on the smart stupid. Let's just wrap up the smart stupid thing. Thiago was obvious, but I just want to say, like, just the idea of buying him and keeping him,
right,
is like there's a reason why he should have been the number one transfer in for forwards last week.
His point should have been higher too if he could have finished that.
I still think he's obvious. He's the number one transfer in for forwards this week.
I brought him in this week.
Right.
I did it game day. I did it.
Mateta's going to be way up there. Mateta was an obvious choice last week, but that's the next thing. The Crystal Palace fixture pileup really is going to impact the way that they rotate, and that happened this week. I already had Mateta in my team. I think looking at the fixtures, you would have just said, yeah, of course you're going to get him in. They're playing Wolves. The outcome ends up being about what you'd expect, playing against the worst team in the league. But yeah, Mateta subs out before 60 minutes. So he finishes with a 1, a player that I think anyone would have probably loved to have in their team. And yeah, and it's about to, I think it's going to stay like that. I would say not smart, not stupid, but obviously Arsenal's ceiling is greater than 2. Sometimes.
Right. Well, Brian, didn't we say earlier in the game, like before a goal had been scored? I think we were discussing it. I'm like, Brian, what's their cap here? And he looks at me and goes, 2. And I'm like, exactly. Like, and of course they make us look stupid.
Well, it's 2, but also because then the other part of it was Tottenham. Like when they conceded the first one, I was like, well, Tottenham doesn't want to sit back. Tottenham will want to
come out a
still
bit.
Keep going for this because of the gravity of the matchup, because of the state of the table and all of those things. And
it's a derby. It's the derby. And they got
ripped.
Yeah.
They just got carved open.
After the second goal they started making changes.
And Spurs looked a little bit better in the second half for a while, but by then, who cares? I mean, you get scored on early, whatever. So Arsenal's ceiling. I think the reason why I say it's not us being totally stupid is because we have talked about this at length. I'm not going to even encourage anyone to go back and listen to previous podcasts, but I concur with previous analysis that has occurred on this podcast and previous shows to say the reason why no one wants to go after this Arsenal team this season is because of that kind of result right there. That is exactly that is the feared result for everyone playing against this Arsenal team, is that you are going to get embarrassed.
If you come out.
Yeah.
And so Trossard was asked about that after the game on the pitch, and it wasn't Sky Sports. I don't remember who asked, but they said, the question revolved around what are you guys comfortable playing against, like a back five? And he goes, yeah, we train for that all the time because that's what most people are playing against us. And he said the follow-up was, how did you feel when they made changes and had to come back at you? And he goes, we really like that, or something along that lines.
Yeah.
And it just goes to what you just said, Brian. Like that's what they would like. Ironically, the game Wednesday should be something along the lines of probably, Bayern's not going to play five at the back.
Right. You would you would love to see, if you knew that if Real Madrid is really awesome in real life and real players with a real team and they want to try to go toe-to-toe attacking with Arsenal.
Right.
You would love to see that. You would love to see Barcelona.
Well, and I think
full blown going after that team, and Bayern is going to do that. Bayern is one of those teams.
Absolutely,
it seems like they have the personnel to be able to do that. That's why
it'll be a fun game to watch.
You want to see that kind of thing. You would think that Manchester City, at their best, if they're playing at their best, you would think that Manchester City could believe.
They didn't.
Exactly.
Did not do that. Liverpool did, though.
Yeah, and look what they did. They smashed you.
They did win 1-0.
The two, we'll talk about it. I was going to bring it up later. The two most inexplicable results of the season in the Premier League so far are Liverpool's wins. Like the winning against Arsenal and winning somehow against this form version of Aston Villa. Those two wins are like, how?
I was going to bring that up in a minute, but the fact that Aston Villa has won 6 out of the last 7 games. Liverpool has lost 6 out of their last 7. Both of them, the one blip on both of their schedules is against each other. It's the weirdest.
We were half smart, half stupid, just the way it ended up shaking out on the what happened with all of the injured players coming off the break and coming into the week.
Some of them didn't.
Timber and Calafiori totally ended up being fine.
Which we called. We said that.
Yep. Cash and Konza totally ended up being fine.
We said Gahey was going to play?
No, I was almost certain. I said almost certainly would not have played, and by Thursday he was in full training.
Yes.
So that is a little bit.
Right. Okay. All right.
If we had recorded Friday,
sure. We could have made
I would
that
not
claim.
have made that call. Obviously, training changes things. This is part of the reason why I think you wait till later in the week to make decisions. However, given the information that was out there, I would have said no way. Enzo Fernandez ends up crushing this week, and so if you listen to anyone that said he's injured, if you listen to the reports that were available out there, you probably either didn't bring him in or may have even benched him, going for a 10 or 11, I think, this week. He ended up scoring the late goal. Sure, and then I was dead wrong. I think everyone was dead wrong on Semenyo, but part of that was just straight up Areola.
He wasn't even in the team.
Didn't even give the full amount of information. Not only did he have an ankle, learned it very specifically what kind of ankle injury he was dealing with, but then found out that he got engaged, and then on top of that, got a fever. So was ruled out ultimately because they didn't want to risk him with his injury, and also he was ill. So just no possible way of seeing that one coming. If you sold him, you probably did the right thing, I imagine.
I know, but he might be back in this week. And if that's the case, then it's not the right thing.
He's going to drop. tomorrow. He did not drop today. He's already reached the target for a drop, so he will drop tomorrow.
The way my value gained on Semenyo, I can afford to have him drop a 10th before I lose money.
Let me look at
I kind of do want to cash in on him, though, because I've already lost 0.2 on Gabriel since I've been so slow to move on him.
Oh, boy, Brian.
That's great. It's really good. I like doing that kind of thing. This season, it's been fantastic. I've been really great about losing money on players. I've probably lost more money this season on players trying to play it safe or be patient. Don't take hits. Yeah, it's been bad. So that's it. I'm sure there are plenty of other reasons why, if you listen to this, you might think, yeah, but what about that guy? You didn't even mention him, or you mentioned that guy, and you guys suck. If you keep track of that kind of thing and you want to send an email Travis at fplamerica.com, and one of our interns will get back to you.
Should I sell some? I bought Semenyo at 7.2. If he currently is at 8.0, so I've literally gained 0.4.
That's a lot
on him.
Yeah.
But if I sell him now at a 7.6, I still have to buy him back at 7.9 if I want him back in the next week or so. That seems stupid.
Something feels real off with him.
You think
performances,
it's a
run of performances that have been not great. I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago, that those first one of the reasons why we can make this a real brief Bournemouth moment. One of the reasons why Semenyo was so great as an asset and a no-brainer must-have midfielder was that last season he was constantly at the top of the statistical, like all of the attacking numbers just was so poor in terms of clinical finishing, just did not have any of the output in real points or goals or whatever. And so it always looked good on paper, but there was no real, nothing real to it. And then this season, he had totally flipped that around. All the numbers and was getting the attacking returns. It was goals and assists, primarily goals, plus then he was on penalties. Everything about it was perfect. And then they hit that skid where the numbers disappeared. Krupi was better than him. Those couple weeks that Krupi started and played up front. Okay. Krupi was the one scoring the goals. The shots really haven't recovered. And so now, I think the big one, we can talk about it now in the European rundown, because that's what we got to do next. I just want to bring that up for the sake, since we're not going to see the results of all these things. But a lot of the guys that you'd bring in this week, you'd be selling Semenyo for some of these top midfielders this week. Your guy would be number one. Eberechi Eze is the very obvious most transferred in player this week.
Price.
Right. So that's your question.
Prices.
Do you want Semenyo? Or do you want
Eze currently?
Right. This is what I'm saying. So I think that's if you have even if you have just the one free transfer, I feel like if you're picking one or the other, you're picking the Arsenal.
Going back to match week 8, where Bournemouth played Forest, he had a 3-2 and then a 0 against Villa, and then he did not play in the West Ham game. He had a 4 with an assist against Palace the week before that, and 18 for Fulham. 7 before that. But so to your point, for the last 3 match weeks, I guess technically we could include this last one, even though he didn't play, his numbers were dipping compared to where he was.
So you want to just do that quick as a game weeks 1 to 7? I'll just tell you from game weeks 1 to 7.
Yeah, sure.
Semenyo from game weeks 1 to 7, 66 points. 17 shots in those games. 17 shots was tied for the most of any midfielder. 9 shots on target was the most of any midfielder. Okay. He's so by far, and then in there also 3 assists. So 6 goals, 3 assists in game weeks 1 to 7
match weeks. That's 9 goal involvements.
Yeah, and then after game week, so starting in game week 8. So game weeks 1 to 7, he's number 1 in every category for midfielders, scoring and everything. Starting in game week 8, he's not even on the first page of shots. Let me give you specifically on Bournemouth. So he wasn't even first on his own team. So starting in game week 8, he was outshot by Marcus Tavernier 11-6.
Okay, so it's
from since game week 8,
drop.
Semenyo 6 shots. He did put five of them on target, but no goals. That 1 assist that you named, 9 points.
Okay,
So he went from even by numbers, by score, he's going to look like he's still at the top, but just there is nowhere near. And even the terrible one, the one you don't ever want to see, the one I love the most. How many times is he touching the ball in the opposition box? 9 touches in the box, out-touched in the box since game week 8 by David Brooks.
wow.
So it's Tavernier 18, Brooks 12, Semenyo 9,
right.
And that's on his own team.
All right, so
I'm not. I'm not even comparing him to
you
the
just
rest
mentioned
of the midfield.
Tavernier. I want to bring up his numbers in case someone wants to keep it in the Bournemouth family there. Tavernier since match week 8 and on, 5, 11, 2, 2, and 7. So Tavernier has absolutely kind of picked up where Semenyo dropped off. If you want to, again, keep it in the Bournemouth family, Tavernier, my guess is at 5.5 is the highest scoring midfielder at that price range at 5.5 since match week 8. Again, I'll repeat, 5, 11, 2, 2, and a 7. That's pretty good for a 5.5 player. But he has absolutely picked up a little bit of the Semenyo weight that he has dropped since match week 8.
True. Marcus Tavernier scored this week. Did he score the penalty? Did he take a penalty?
He did take the penalty.
Yeah, so there you go. Don't know that would have happened if Semenyo's out there, but still, you like that he...
Doesn't matter. Semenyo wasn't out there, and there's
right.
no guarantee that Semenyo is going to be there this week.
Something you need to remember, Europe. This week...
We want to remember that?
Yeah, we need a European rundown. Like I said, you already know this. The Champions League and Europa League matches are still to play
along with
this
Europa
week.
Conference.
And a lot of the top transfers in...
It's true. Travis is laughing.
Oh,
at
true.
Me.
No, you're right.
It's true. It's true.
A lot of the top transfers in are on teams
that are playing in
Europe this midweek. I want to start with Liverpool just so we get this out of the way quickly. Liverpool's home to PSV Eindhoven on Wednesday. Travis,
if ever, before Travis goes on, if ever Liverpool need a result in this game, period.
Do they? I was going to ask you. I was going to
have a result.
The other way I was going to ask this, Travis. Does it matter one way or the other what happens to Liverpool in this game?
They just need to build some mojo.
The crazy part about it is they probably don't. Okay. Would you be looking for a response? Absolutely, I think you would be. All the noises coming out of Liverpool camp right now are rage and everyone is upset. Obviously, with that upset, you want to feed that, and you want a game as quickly as possible.
Isn't it that Everton's ahead of them on the table now?
Technically, Everton is
because
they're
goal
tied
differential.
on points.
Right,
Everton has a 0 goal differential.
We're
Liverpool at
-2.
-2.
I would not have predicted
Liverpool
that.
currently, shockingly, and I'm not throwing shade here,
but no, that's
12th in the table.
But also Liverpool is currently 8th in the Champions League standings, which is completely fine.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Right.
Liverpool's great in the Champions League.
Have you just accepted it? I mean, I think it's accepted by everybody. Has
Probably,
Liverpool accepted title defense complete?
Yeah,
we are not going to sniff. We might not even sniff the top 4 at this point.
I don't think that they have given up on top 4. I think that the financial windfall of that is pretty substantial, and there's going to be
top five
pretty strong draw to do top 4. I would say for sure.
You're Liverpool and you just won the title.
Yeah.
I would say top 4, or else this is your
but 5 is at least Champions League.
Okay,
top 5. I mean,
all that to say, yeah, they're definitely going to prioritize Champions League, and they probably already have been a little bit. Jamie Carragher said something that he's recently thought of. Just because again, Liverpool have very little to play for in the league side of things. He mentioned running into Arne Slot on summer holiday, and he said he has a weird obsession with the Champions League. and that's all he wanted to talk about. To the point that he introduced Jamie Carragher to his family as a Champions League winner. That's how he introduced him.
Okay.
And so that's what they talked about. He said he is expecting, and again, Jamie Carragher gets a lot wrong, but he's expecting that Liverpool's basically going to put all their eggs in that Champions League basket.
Is anyone more hilarious as a pundit this season than Jamie Carragher?
No.
Hilarious is probably not the right word.
No, but I mean,
manic might be.
Not funny, haha, funny. I'm not sure what.
I will give him credit here. He has trashed Arsenal multiple times, and at least has come back and apologized.
I don't know about apologize, but definitely
he's walked. Well, literally this past Sunday, I heard
giving them their due.
He walked some things back. It was mainly in the transfer window.
Yeah,
that he was kind of giving them some stick, and he's like, "Hey, they did good business."
So the answer to doesn't matter one way or the other is no. The reason why I ask, Liverpool, an objectively great schedule upcoming. Playable fixtures, I would say even captainable fixtures from now until they play Arsenal in game week 21, which is January 8th, but an objectively crap team. How many seasons?
False horizon.
How many seasons do you have to go back to see a schedule as good as what they have in this run until January, and yet have nearly zero desire to even get one of their players? Like, I'm saying you have to, like, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds, Brighton, Spurs, Wolves, Leeds, Fulham.
Okay.
That's the run of fixtures.
You're right.
Home or away, I don't care what it is. That run of fixtures is so
there's
playable
a strong
and
chance.
Awesome.
There's
really
absolutely
point,
a strong
Brian.
chance that Salah disappears and they start figuring it out. There's absolutely a chance that occurs
Because AFCON's on the horizon.
Alisson is back, which is a massive piece to the defensive instability puzzle. Not that it mattered this week, right? Mm-hmm. But Alisson being back is a big deal. And then honestly, Salah has just been so not helpful. And so having to find an answer out there on the right is not a bad thing. Frimpong is also coming back and getting healthy. That's one of the guys they're looking at potentially using out wide.
That was the story preseason. Was the it seemed like the prepared strategy for Salah going to AFCON was Frimpong being the one who played out there.
Yeah.
There were FPL content creators who were talking about preparing even in like August of saying Frimpong's going to be in everybody's team, because if Frimpong is the one starting on the right wing as a forward, of course you're going to have that guy as
in that offensive juggernaut.
Right. A team that's so unstoppable.
Frimpong obviously will be there. He's Dutch, so he will not be going anywhere for AFCON.
Here's so the two players that off the top of my head, the two that I thought were like the amazing factoid guys here. First of all, Isak starts versus Nottingham Forest, were you surprised to see
Makes
him starting?
Makes no sense. Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely,
You're right.
Yes.
It makes no sense. Not starting.
Ekitike scored on an international break, and
it is excellent.
And Isak did not play on an international break. So, as far as I'm concerned, I was really perplexed by that.
He was so trash.
Ekitike was, by the way, awesome.
I was going to say,
he generally is.
Isak was so bad. More people are transferring Ekitike in, despite the fact that Ekitike only played 34 minutes.
Right.
3,300 people bringing in Isak, 9,700 bringing in Ekitike. More people are buying Callum Wilson, who's playing Liverpool, than are buying.
He scored
either
he
of the
score
Liverpool.
2 goals.
I understand
this week,
that, and I understand he's way cheaper. I'm just saying it's really odd to me. So many people are that you're willing to even go to Callum Wilson, period, much less that you're like not trying to figure out a way to maybe move things around.
Is this bad form to bring up that everyone was talking about Liverpool's going to win the league if Isak comes?
I didn't want Isak to go to Liverpool. I just know that's how many. It felt like that was the discussion.
It felt like they were buying the title or attempting to buy the title. No question. I mean, when you say everyone, obviously you don't include me, because
did Liverpool
I was pretty adamant that wasn't the case.
Did Liverpool get duped with Isak?
No, I don't think I don't think we can definitively say that the quality of these players has completely tanked from being on a team that's struggling.
I'm not questioning Verts.
Right?
What if
I'm not questioning Verts.
What if Isak had gone through a normal preseason workout and stayed with Newcastle and played normally through the fall and then done a January transfer? I wonder if that might not, because he is such a baby.
That was a horrible situation. I don't like that situation at all, and I think that definitely is playing into his form. 100% that's playing into his form.
He's got to regret it.
He's got to.
I don't know that he regrets it, but I definitely he's playing Champions League football, and they're doing well, right?
Newcastle's
I think Liverpool has a better chance of winning Champions League than Newcastle does.
Newcastle is Newcastle's ahead of Liverpool.
I'm just saying.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm not saying they're doing bad. I'm just saying they would have had to rely on Isak because they wouldn't have bought Voltamata.
Okay,
it's true. It's true.
Hilarious to me. The next thing was that Virgil went from when we recorded, I think he was like third or fourth most transferred in. I know we said that because specifically he was not the most transferred in for defenders. By the time the kickoff happened last week, he was by far the number one defender transfer in. Net transfers in for Virgil van Dijk for last game week, 496,000. He's currently the 10th most transferred in for defenders, fourth most transferred out.
Interesting.
So people
very fickle on
bailing
that one.
on I don't know, it's the same people, but either way, a lot of people, more people selling Virgil this week. Are you still the same opinion?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no change in that.
And then again, Salah's not even in the top. He doesn't even crack the top 40. Gakpo, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch are kind of barely. Gakpo's still the top transfer in for Liverpool midfielders so far.
Interesting.
And he's only the 18th most transferred in for midfielders. You are forgetting this entire team. Is that it? Like, what is it? What would it take?
I'm saying there's nothing at the moment that you
I'm saying the fixtures,
a couple consecutive wins would not hurt.
Yes.
Okay.
Agree
consistent
with that.
performances for players wouldn't hurt.
Liverpool
someone other than Szoboszlai holding the team together.
Did he start at right wing? Was he? Right back. I mean, was he right? I feel like I thought I saw him starting in the back.
It very, very possibly, yes. I know that we have players that can play in that position that did not play in that position. Most notably, Joe Gomez.
Szoboszlai started at right back.
Played right back.
I thought I saw.
By the way, Kirkhead is taking a lot of shade. Kirkhead's not an issue in this match.
Again,
you didn't watch it.
What I was going to say,
I couldn't.
You didn't watch it.
What I said.
Kirkhead's not an issue in this match. Actually, had maybe his best match for Liverpool. Robertson, when he came in for Kirkhead, ended up giving up that last goal.
Really?
Yeah, but Kirkhead, credit to him because we've thrown some shade at him.
He's been
he's
terrible.
Probably deserved it. This game, not his problem.
What I said to Dave was that retroactively need to rename last week's pod to your quote, Andy Robertson is old. Because he
looked old on that one.
Oh,
yeah.
He got it did not.
Age creeps up on everyone.
It does.
So okay, I am not advocating buying one of these people. I'm just saying this run of fixtures.
There will likely come a time this season where they become viable. That is not this time.
Okay.
I agree.
It's not this time.
I agree.
I can't overstate just how messed up they have been this offseason. Just really messed up.
Right.
Other than, is there anything else other than the Jota thing?
I don't think so.
It probably is.
I don't think so. I think they're obviously they're affected by, Trent and Diaz.
What would Trent be doing in this team?
What would Diaz be doing in this team?
Diaz would be
honestly,
doing
right?
things.
Luis
He'd be
Diaz would
scoring.
be crushing.
Right. What would
crushing.
Darwin be doing in this team? I mean, he would probably be doing a little
What
bit more.
you need
too.
is more South Americans in this team.
So all that to say,
you got rid of South Americans and added soft Europeans.
Well, that is exactly what's going on with Wirtz. Is he's the pace of play and the physicality is not what he's used to.
Yeah.
And it's taking him a long time to get to the point where he's able to perform under those pressures.
Do you want to blame Slot in any way? Or do you want to just say,
I mean, he's ultimately responsible for it, no question, no question. And I say, when I say ultimately responsible for that, I mean tactics and who he plays. But he did not choose the players that have come in or the players that have left. That has been a complete restructure since Jurgen Klopp left, and was one of the major reasons why Jurgen Klopp left was so that FSG could put that in place.
Robert Edwards, is that his name? Is it Rob Edwards? The Liverpool guy responsible for all the signings. He was lauded for bringing in all the players before he left, and you guys, Liverpudlians, were massively excited that Edwards was back. Is it Rob Edwards?
No,
help me out with
Michael Edwards. Michael Edwards
Okay.
came in and took over for Mike. I can't remember his last name.
Mike Edwards is in the house. So I was walking my dog last night. I finally got my brother on the phone, and I was walking my dog last night, and we had a chat. And as I was walking, I was legitimately, I just thought about it when I was talking to him. Travis is because I know that you have spoken about the fact that this is not, Slot's not picking players. Edwards is picking players. Surely they have conversations.
Well, Edwards
surely they have conversations, but it's not like Slot saying, I want this guy, go get him.
Right.
Right?
So,
You've told me that, right?
It was a shift specifically from
because Klopp
saying, these are the guys that I want.
Correct.
And it was, so FSG is obviously most well known for the money ball.
Okay.
Set up
so
in baseball.
Is looking at,
and so they came in and for Liverpool, that's one of the first things that they wanted to set up. They set up an extensive scouting network. Their guys are getting poached by everybody everywhere, right? Sure. To go their mid-level guys are going and being, high level analysts and numbers guys at other orgs, right? And so Edwards comes in and sets up a robust structure with Julian Ward and some other guys, and it's all numbers based, right? Okay. So stats and numbers based to try and get the right guys in based on those numbers. That led to the significant improvement in Liverpool's transfer strategy being successful, coming off of our previous ownership, which was abysmal.
Right, but hold on, that abysmal did get you a Champions League title.
No, this is prior to that.
It did.
Edwards was here for that, and all of Edwards' purchases were what got us that.
Okay, but at some point Edwards did leave when Klopp was still there. Correct.
Correct, and the reason why he left was partially because
Klopp wanted more say.
Klopp wanted more say, and so when he signed his new contract, he got more say.
Okay.
So Klopp became the guy that was saying, this is what we're going to do. Right. And part of the reason why, and this, Klopp has actually done a number of interviews here recently. Part of the reason why he left was he had been accused, as Liverpool was maybe struggling a little bit, of being too sentimental.
Okay.
Which is part of the reason why he let Fabinho go, Sadio Mane go, Henderson go to leave the club. And bring in fresh blood is because he's like, see, I can do it. I get it. Those guys are old. They're slowing down. We're not ready for the future. What's next, right? Okay. So Klopp came in, set up, guys. I mean, he brought Szoboszlai in for Henderson. I think that's an upgrade, right? All that to say, Klopp had ideas, but Edwards had left. Julian Ward had come in. Julian Ward had left, and Klopp was like,
come back in.
Klopp was like, I'm done. And so there were some recent articles here. FSG's plan when Klopp left was, okay, well, plan A is Michael Edwards, plan B is Michael Edwards, plan C is Michael Edwards. Okay. So they literally got to the point where Mike Gordon, who was the CEO, basically the guy who's running the club, football, director of football, said, okay, you're not coming in to do your old job. You're coming in to do my job. And then you get to pick the guy that you want to do your job from back before. And that's how they convinced him. They obviously threw a bucket of money, as well as made promises to purchase another club in Europe. And he would be responsible for football operations for both Liverpool and the new club. Obviously, he brought in Richard Hughes from Bournemouth. Richard Hughes is the one that's actually doing the bulk of the work for transfer incoming with the data team. And Slot is a first team coach, first team coach.
Okay.
He is not he's not a manager. He's a first team coach. Obviously, he's part of the process. They're not going to bring somebody in and he says, "Yeah, I don't want that guy." They're not going to bring him in. They're going to show him the numbers and say, "This is why we do," and they're either going to convince him and he says, "Yes, okay, fine," or they're not going to bring that guy in.
Okay. So, that is so perfect. I did not expect that level of detail. That was
I pay attention,
amazing.
Right? Well, I pay attention.
No.
I guess that's
that's exactly kind of what I wanted. I just had no idea that amount of detail, that knowledge that you had, which was awesome. So my thought was, based on the fact that Liverpool very easily, due to, 5 of their first 6 wins came with a goal 83 minutes or later.
Yeah.
And they won their first 6 matches of the season. And they were heavily reliant on late goals. Late goal against Arsenal, late goal penalty against Burnley, among others that I can think of at the moment. So my point being is Liverpool's results were kind of up in the air early on, but they were able to come out on the other side of it. Recently, the results have been worse, or they haven't gotten the late magic that they got earlier in the season.
Yeah.
They won the first 6 games. They've lost the last 6 out of 7. And so it's shocking. My point being, I was thinking about on this walk with my dog when I'm talking to my brother, finally getting back to it. Is there some form of disconnect between, in other words, listen, Liverpool is now in my algorithm on X, and I have seen so many as much Liverpool things as I have seen Arsenal, and so many people giving Slot so much hate about the players that he has in his team. And I remember what you had told me before, and then obviously you just educated our audience probably on the inner workings of FSG and Liverpool Football Club.
Well, Slot's trying to get the most out of the guys that he's got. He's not.
Therefore, though, are those guys that Slot would have even possibly picked in the first place?
Why wouldn't
Is there
you?
Some form of disconnect between Edwards and his people and Slot?
Well, I guess my question is this: let's just throw this out there. What manager in world football would not say yes to the reigning German footballer of the year?
I don't know, man. Some might.
I'm not trying.
I just
don't see that. I just don't see that being.
I just
don't see that being something that would be an option for some. I mean, with as much as Bayern was fighting for him, right? Fighting for Wirtz. As much as Madrid was like, well, basically, like if we wanted him, we would have got him because we have his coach, and we're Real Madrid. Like they don't say that about a guy they don't want, right? Like, or that they wouldn't take, right? So I don't think there's a world in which Slot would look like an idiot if he was like, no, I don't want that guy. Right. I mean, of course, hindsight right now looks like it's 2020 because he's struggling to adapt. But but from a numbers perspective and from the skill of the player, there's no way he's gonna say no to that.
This is what I'm trying to get at. At some level, the eye test has to mean something. And there was Eberechi Eze is a perfect example of someone who got passed over because there was plenty of English coaches who looked at him and said, not for me. He didn't fit perfectly into the roles that the English guys were looking for to play for their teams, whether he was at Millwall or QPR and then Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And it took someone at Palace finally going, this guy's ridiculous. I don't know exactly what he is, but he's ridiculous. And then Crystal Palace brings him in and pretty much says, hey, go do your thing.
Yeah.
And for 4 years he did his thing, and then he was in the Arsenal Academy. He leaves there, ends up going to I think Millwall and then QPR, and then in those academies. And look,
there's very few people that are saying Wirtz is not what they expected him to be, right? So he's passed the eye test to the point where he's still being referred to as Germany's hope for the World Cup, right? Okay. Even with his form at Liverpool, right? The vast majority of people in world football, not just pundits, are especially players, are expecting him to overcome this and show what he's capable of, to use basically a shortened version of their turn of phrase, right? So I don't think that there's an eye test issue or even a statistics issue for there to be a disconnect between Slot and the stats guys, specifically on Wirtz, who we paid a significant amount of money for. On the Isak side of things, again, I go back to looking at what he did for Newcastle in the Premier League. Why would we not expect that he could translate that into a title-winning team when he's done it already in the Premier League? Right. Obviously, there's a messing up. So those are the two people that are under the most fire.
So then it is Slot. So then is it Slot that's effing this up?
It's the usage of the players that's starting to get questioned. His substitutions, his tactics have not been particularly.
So then he does carry more weight than I would. I
mean, he puts the team out. He puts the team out, right? Like no one tells him who he has to play.
Correct.
No one tells him how he has to play.
Right.
He has the freedom to do that, and ultimately, he has been very candid in it. And I think I mentioned this before. Just how he's super direct, and you said there it's excuses. And Thierry Henry came out and said, look, I know you're taking a lot of slack for this, but I've worked with a lot of Dutch people, and I appreciate the how transparent you are about how you line up and why it works and why it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank you for that. And he said, you're welcome. Slot said, you're welcome, because that's how he's appraised. Basically, the reason they say, why are you performing better? Because we're not facing a low block. Because we haven't figured out how to play against a low block.
Right.
So we are performing poorly against a low block. We're performing moderately good against teams that play us open.
Villa and Madrid.
Right. And ultimately, basically anybody in Champions League, right? So low block is a problem, and they brought in Wirtz and a pretty good striker who, as far as movement is concerned, with Isak, to try and break that down, because we struggled against that with Klopp too, right? A lot. Where I don't know if you remember, just that there was that slump that Salah had where we could not, for the life of us, break down the low block. We could not for the life of us break down the low block. And they were like, okay, well, nobody can score, right? And we went through some challenges with that, and eventually we would hit them on the break, right? They'd get a corner, we'd defend a corner, and then we would use speed and hit them on the break, because we couldn't get them in open play without the break, right? All that to say, I think this is a natural situation that he is ultimately responsible for. But low block is difficult. It's super difficult. You guys have faced it more than anybody else, and set pieces have been your way to overcome that. Right. So you guys are getting the fun rap of Set Piece FC, but you've needed to resort to set pieces.
Because we had to figure out another way.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So all that to say, I think, yes, Slot is responsible, and he is probably definitely under the most pressure he has ever faced. I don't know that we're at the point where he's going to lose his job.
I don't think he's going to lose his job.
But if he can't continue to produce in Champions League, and he doesn't find a way to produce against teams that play open,
he's going
to have some pretty strong problems.
He's got to Brian, in remembering the Europe section, which is where we are.
And you named off all those teams that were stacked up against, and yes, they look good on paper, but ultimately West Ham could sit deep, Sunderland could sit deep, Leeds could sit deep, Brighton's not going to, Tottenham's probably not going to, but they could. Wolves is definitely going to, and then Leeds again, and then Fulham again. Like they're gonna sit deep. We're gonna struggle with a lot of those matches, even though they look good on paper.
Probably won't
if
be
we
high
can't
scoring,
figure
right?
if we can't figure out how to deal with the pace of play and the physicality, because that is what Wirtz has been brought in to do is to unlock that low block. And if he can't figure that out before we really need him, we're gonna continue to struggle.
Good call.
The next
good analysis.
The next best team that we can talk about is Dave's team again. Dave, Arsenal's playing home to Bayern on Wednesday.
Yes.
I assumed the best starting 11 for the game, but Dave, I think you sound right about the heavy rotation.
I feel pretty good about it.
And I'm just saying, even if. I mean, you'd feel better. I don't think Raya is going to come out no matter what, but Raya is the number 3 most transferred in goalkeeper so far this game week. Timber, the second most transferred in defender, the only defender who ended up with anything for the game week this week on his brilliant assist, where he really just made an unbelievable pass.
Just made a little tippy-tap pass.
No, it was a good. I mean, that's why he's 30% selected. Saliba, 7th most transferred in for defenders. The most obvious number 1 transfer in for midfielders in a while here, I think.
Well, look,
he's not.
I know there's a bunch of people chasing points there. I do want to say this. Odegaard is pretty much... Like, he'll be in the team,
ready.
I think, against Chelsea. I don't think he'll start. I am completely torn on what's going to happen when Odegaard is fit. Eze has finally started to, obviously, it culminated in a hat trick against Spurs. He's figuring out the positioning. It's just taking a little bit longer.
It's going to be rotation, but it's going to be rotation likely where Odegaard comes in during Champions League and
But let's try to figure out.
Right?
Let's go back to Arteta, what he typically does. Once you kind of lock a position down, you kind of stay there unless you get injured or you kind of foul it up. Look at Trossard.
He would rotate for the Cups and for Champions League, though, wouldn't he?
Yes,
that's what I'm
true.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
But this is it.
So he'd keep his place for the league.
This is a Premier League podcast. I think Eze, at minimum, keeps his spot in the 10 for the Premier League at the moment.
And there's nowhere else to put Odegaard.
Possible. You're right. There's not. So maybe he doesn't get in the team.
You're not going to play your captain. Uh-oh.
Then you got big problems.
I don't think
that's when it all falls apart.
He
starts cooking hibachi in the locker room
those
again.
Those are good problems. Worst case, I think, he moves Eze to the left and in the league, and then Odegaard ends up starting. I just don't know if Odegaard's going to be back game 1 starting. I don't feel good about I mean, I think Eze is a safe start against Chelsea.
Is Tottenham going after PSG on Wednesday? They have to, right?
They have to.
Yeah, but especially because PSG officials is talking trash. They're treating this like a revenge game, even though they won the.
They were upset that it was a draw,
right?
In the what's that cup? The Europa League versus the Champions League. The Super Cup, or whatever that was.
Yeah,
they were burned that they didn't just smash Spurs,
right?
The fact that it went to penalties.
Well, everyone but their manager was burned. All of the fans and maybe the official social media account trying to drum up some sort of drama for this. But what's the PSG manager? I was impressed. I thought his
face.
Yeah,
Luis Enrique. Good call.
Luis Enrique.
Because he said afterwards, like, basically, we didn't deserve to win.
You're right. He did.
He was the most gracious winner that I have heard since Pep Guardiola. No, I'm just kidding. Now, he was the most, honestly, he was genuinely like we were tired. We just played the Club World Cup. They've had a normal preseason. We are just getting back a couple weeks ago. They were rightly up on us early. They probably should have finished the game
They should
out.
have. Spurs should have won that.
And we were really lucky to get it even to penalties.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's why I'm like, what are you talking about? A revenge game? PSG? I don't even know. I mean, look, it could have been some.
The
phony,
French always want to stir
It could have been
something
some
up.
phony baloney account too that posted that just for whatever. Either way, yeah, I think
So
they
they're
will.
they're after it.
What I was going to say is for Arsenal, though.
Oh, you still on Arsenal? I
I
was
am
trying to
still
move
on-
on. We're
No,
over an hour here. I'm trying to move on.
Well, we had to talk about Liverpool a whole lot.
That's true.
That was the 5th time we'd mentioned Arsenal, and you let him go on a diatribe.
There's a lot to talk about.
Declan
Travis.
Rice is somehow the 6th most transferred in for midfielders.
He should be the first.
Saka all the way down.
Eze should be the first,
Saka
remember?
down in 12.
Said that earlier.
Rice should be first.
Hilarious FPL thing about Bukayo.
Actually, and Trossard may be second.
Of all of it, like these detail kind of numbers that make me that will always make me laugh. Since Bukayo Saka returned to full-time starting, so game week 6 is when he came back after the injury. That was his first full start. He started every match since then. But since game week 6, Bukayo Saka has 39 points in FPL, which is tied for 7th most. Do you know who he's tied with? I don't know if you could guess this if I gave you 100 guesses. I don't even think you would even consider
Cullen.
who it is. Who?
Cullen.
No.
39 points.
I would say
Since when?
that to me is in the range. So since game week 6, Bukayo Saka has 39 points in FPL. He
he's
is tied with someone. Who do you think it is? I will give you a few guesses.
Dan Ballard.
No, a
it's
midfielder. I'm saying
Gotta be a
midfielder. Yeah.
Hold on. This is fun.
Ballard might have outscored.
Do the
Probably outscored
Travis,
these
put the
guys.
Jeopardy music on. Who is ooh,
You're taking too long. Just
who
tell
is
him.
John McGinn?
That's in the range too. It's Joao Polina. Joao Polina also has 39 points since game week 6.
Brian,
what?
do you know who doesn't have 39 points and who has a lot more since match week 6 is Leandro Trossard. We can talk about Eze, we can talk about Rice, but you know who has probably more points or close to it as those guys? This is Trossard's points since match week 8. So this is covering 6 match weeks. 10, 3, 6, 9, 12.
Yeah. I was going to run down through the numbers for you because game week 8.
I
one of
said
the
6,
other-
that's 5 matches.
So
He
maybe
can't
we
count.
can just
Five
we
matches.
can do this in combination with moving on. I want to come back to that because there are
combination.
some
Great.
numbers. There are
Thank
some
you.
numbers here for that. Manchester City. Let's go to Manchester City next. They're home versus Bayer Leverkusen tomorrow. On that would be 11:25. So that is
early.
Tuesday,
Tuesday, 11:25.
11:25. November 25th.
Oh, yes.
Is what
Thank
I mean.
you.
11:25, not 11:25 a.m.
Okay.
And also, it would be 25-11 to everyone who's not in America.
Very true. Donnarumma, number 1 goalkeeper transfer in so far. I know it's only 21,000 people, but I would say City's a schedule is, I would call it objectively good.
It is
Yeah.
objectively good.
A good run
Enough
of,
for me
of
to
fixtures.
consider Nico Riley.
So we're back on. Nico O'Reilly, I think, would have been a strong contender. You did transfer in Nico
Yeah, we both
O'Reilly. It ended up.
I didn't.
He
Oh, you
ended
didn't?
up not.
I
doing
wanted to.
it.
I didn't take a hit.
Oh.
I had my one transfer of the week. I didn't even talk on the pod, but I decided last second to do it. I actually brought in Neto that paid off for me.
Yeah, nice.
And I did not take a hit, but I really
idea.
wanted to.
Your Yakuba Minta was paying off for me too, by the way.
True.
Thanks for that.
Third
assists,
most transferred in defender so far for the game week. Nico O'Reilly. Nobody really put off by the Manchester City loss against Newcastle. Also, Nico O'Reilly played 90 minutes this week. He's played 90 minutes a lot. There is an article out there. I'll look at it in a second. Just
He's at
how he's
12.
nailed down that spot.
He's
I
fine.
would just say seems less likely to start against in the midweek
Leverkusen,
match.
Yeah.
Probably a league, could be a league guy, nailed down a spot in the league. So I would be encouraged by buying him.
Feels Kyle Walker-ish.
Ruben
Old
Diaz.
Milwaukee.
Ruben Diaz, the guy that's
Old Milwaukee, old Manchester.
Ruben Diaz, the one who scored the goal.
Doing over there.
Ruben Diaz scores.
We got to wrap this up. He's losing it.
Wow.
Ruben Diaz scores the goal against Newcastle. He's only the 8th most transferred in for defenders. Josko Gvardiol still, I think, a fine pick.
Who?
Matheus Nunez. Those guys are still in the top 16-ish.
You know him as Gardeval.
Oh, that guy.
Doku, the number 5 most transferred in midfielder so far, despite the letdown against Newcastle. I'm a little surprised by that. Usually whenever you go from like hot commodity to like, he did it again, played 75 minutes. I didn't see it, so
Ryan,
I can't.
he's giving you 1 return in the last 6 matches.
I know.
Yeah, he's
I'm
a
not
flat-
telling you.
he's just
I'm
kind
not
of
saying
flash in
I'm
the
buying
pan
him. I'm
guy.
just telling you he's 60,000 people.
I fell for that already this season. I'm not doing it again.
Foden, just under 20,000 transfers in, puts him as the number 13th most transferred in midfielder. The guy I'm surprised isn't a little higher because he got a return this week was Cherky. Not only is he cheaper, so he's 6.4. He's low owned, 3.4%.
Minutes have been an issue for him.
But he got the assist
Right.
on the Diaz goal plus 2 bonus points, so he finishes with a healthy 7. You would have liked to have a 7 in one of your midfield spots this week.
I did.
I would imagine.
Pedro Neto gave me that.
Right, another great choice.
Along with Edse.
Not relevant for your transfers or for anybody's transfers. Really, it's just weird to me that Holland is the 4th most transferred in forward.
Interesting.
Somehow,
How is that possible?
34,908 people as of a
He's
little.
owned
Still buying.
71.5%.
Making the decision to transfer him in this week.
Jeez.
This is it. This is the one they've been waiting for.
Real quick on Tottenham, away to PSG on Wednesday. I'm just assuming that the answer is no to would you buy anyone from Tottenham?
No.
I looked at Paulinho, so I wasn't surprised when you said that he was the guy. I looked at him for a hot second.
He is good. I just am saying I'm not
He's
really
not the
sure why you would buy any of them. And I'm saying that because somehow Mickey Van de Ven is the 5th most transferred in defender for the game week. I didn't understand it the week after his brace. I had sold him ahead of that brace. I understand that brace really, really got you going. I understand how exciting that brace probably was for everybody that still had him
I
at
did
that
get
point.
that 23 Travis.
It was
I
great.
know you
Yeah,
guys
same.
both did. I know you both
I
did.
still have him. I held
I'm
on to him
saying-
and Cucurella,
I had him on
and
my
it's been
bench
great.
this past week. I
Same.
still own Cucurella.
Yeah, it's great.
Which Cucurella is still serviceable.
He's still going.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes, of
benching
course he is.
Cucurella this week. I'm not benching Van de Ven this week.
I don't know what there
I'm
is
starting
that-
Vicario and Van de Ven this week.
I don't know what
You're an
there is
animal.
to encourage you at all about Spurs' performances that would make you either.
They were
I
up
understand
against the
holding him.
juggernaut that is Arsenal.
Yeah.
They had no choice but
Right.
to capitulate.
Yeah. They
I want you to read
They were-
off.
they were
Mickey,
going against their daddy.
read Mickey Van de Ven's scores since his brace against whoever it was. I don't even.
Everton.
Go ahead. What are
All right,
his numbers since then?
Since week 9, his scores against. Now, look, this is a gauntlet against Chelsea, United, and Arsenal. Okay, so not a bunch of pushovers. It's been 2-1 and 0.
Oh, great.
Okay,
Just the kind of guy
but
you really
their
want to.
fixtures upcoming look like they're home Fulham at Newcastle.
Why
don't,
is
don't
home-
love that. Then you're home Brentford at
Don't like
Forest.
that,
Home,
and don't like that,
Home Liverpool.
and don't like that.
You love that.
There is not.
You're
one-
home Liverpool.
You have not-
What's Liverpool gonna do? Score?
You have not said one team that I would say yes, definitely they will do something
this
there.
guy.
All right, that's fair.
I'm just saying, like I'm saying.
Look, Brian, he's 4.6. It's not
no, he's 4.8.
He's
4.6 for you because you held on to him.
in my
he is
face.
4.8.
In
and
my
this is why
face.
I'm saying
Why would you buy him
buying
at
him
4.8?
now. I said after
I
the
agree with
brace.
that.
I said after the brace,
Sell,
the
sell,
schedule
sell.
was bad.
Sure.
I don't know why people would be all of a sudden jumping in on it.
and you'd be right.
I'm even more confused now as to why you'd be jumping in on it. I get it. The price is still low, whatever. I feel like there are better people. Newcastle's away to Marseille tomorrow, also November 25th. Nick Pope, whatever. I feel like he's fine. Nick Pope, save point in every game since they played Arsenal in game week 6.
Is he
Has
healthy?
made- healthy enough.
Okay.
He's made at least 3 saves in every game. I'm not saying like they're conceding a decent number of shots. He's making a lot of saves. that's the kind of thing I feel like can catch up with them. But either way, it just helps his floor, I guess. He's 5.2 is a little bit more expensive, I think, than maybe I would want to spend on.
Funniest non-move of the week, real quick, while you're reloading there. I saw you reloading. Travis, you'll love this. Anyone who listened to the pod last week, I had a goalkeeper issue. I had Matt Sells playing Arsenal. Liverpool. Matt Sells playing Liverpool, and Vicario playing Arsenal. So I don't love either one of my goalkeepers. I've been stuck with them, haven't been able to move them.
Yeah.
By hook or by crook, I threw Sells out there.
Yeah.
And, of course, he gets a clean sheet.
Oh, man.
Luck of all lucks.
That is
Never
really...
thought that was happening, but I just could not throw Vicario in there playing Arsenal.
I can't really see why you'd be interested in a Newcastle defender. I think the transfers probably confirm that.
You want Lewis Hall?
Tino Livramento, Dan Byrne, barely cracked the top 30 for transfers in.
Why is anybody transferring Dan Byrne and he's suspended?
Is he still? I knew. I don't know if it was.
I think he's off.
I don't know if it was a straight red.
It wasn't. But
Malik Tiao is probably their actual real life best defender.
Burns not on a red.
Tiao's barely in the top 50.
One game.
He's barely in the top 50 for transfers in. But their best defender,
Tiao is 0.5 owned.
right? And he's 4.9. He'd be the defender of the Newcastle defenders. He would be the one I would pick to bring in. But
had a good game.
Since game week 7, he has scored 19 fantasy points. He's outside the top 30. So here's a great thing for you for Newcastle defense, okay? The numbers look good. Their defense rating is bad.
Okay.
So this is a who scored thing. So however much you want to put weight into the way they do their ratings, but here's
score's pretty accurate.
Right. And I think they're generally trustworthy in the way they evaluate things.
Agree.
Newcastle's expected goals against for the season is 14.51. They are fourth best. That's the fourth lowest expected goals against in the league. Home and away is almost identical. 7.27 expected goals against at home, 7.24 expected goals against away.
Wow, okay. 7
actual goals conceded in both home and away matches. At home, that's 9th. So 7.27 expected goals against is 9th. In away games, it's 4th best. 7.24 expected goals against in away games is 4th best. Their who scored rating for the season, defensive rating, is 6.59. 13th. So I'm saying they have one of the best overall XG against numbers. They're 4th. Okay. And yet their who scored defensive rating for the season is 13th. And I'm saying that feels right. Newcastle, to me, has just been... They had a great performance this week. They still managed to concede. They seem like they probably should have conceded more. I think they kind of lucked into not giving away a couple penalties, at least one that wasn't given. I know Pep was furious afterwards and whatever. People are going to complain about officiating no matter what, but it just feels that way. It just feels like the kind of team that just isn't that great. They're just not a convincing team, and yet, like, I don't know, they can still get results. They're still really talented, whatever. The guy I wanted to really highlight there, though, is Bruno Guimaraes. And he's the 9th most transferred in, 2 assists this week against Manchester City. So he got both of the assists. Since game week 7, Dave, you probably love this. I think this is someone now you want to look at.
I'm looking at it now.
Since game week 7,
14,
among
2,
midfielders,
10, 4, 4, 10.
44 points, if you want to do that math, and I will tell you that he is second highest scoring midfielder since game week 7.
Yeah.
Only Eze is ahead of him, and Eze has 45 points, and I don't feel like I need to remind you, Eze scored a 20 this week.
Right.
So if it wasn't for a 20, your top scorer since game week 7 in my midfielders is Bruno Guimaraes.
Wow.
Semenyo to Guimaraes. Guimaraes.
Wow, Brian. Honestly, those are. I had not looked at him.
He is not
shocking numbers.
He
there.
is the most. That is the unsexiest pick of any midfielder I think you can make.
All right, this is interesting.
13 shots, 11 chances created. That is tied for 7th most, like the 7th highest total since game week 7.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not a lot. I think it's just a guy that's turned into like.
But he keeps producing.
He is
Brian, help me with this. Now look, let's say I this is not for a hit. If I make a transfer at this point, because I already brought Thiago in. Therefore, anyone I bring in is for a hit. Let's say I'm a Semenyo owner, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, Minta or Bruno G? Which way would you lean?
Minta is the only good. Minta and Welbeck saved me this week. So Minta is one of the only, like, I went after that guy and it paid off and it has continued to pay off.
Right.
Minta has been that guy all season long.
Minta is the 5th highest scoring midfielder in FPL right now.
He's their most creative. He's easily their most involved and a player that seems to be the guy who manages constantly to get into the right places and attack the right spaces.
Absolutely.
Welbeck's goal was amazing. I mean, and Welbeck missed a chance earlier in the game that was really great. Welbeck easily could have had 2. Again, I blame the rain in that game. But Welbeck's goal, you should look it up. It was like vintage Danny Welbeck. It was exactly the reason why, like, I think it's not unfair to say, like, why not play for England? I mean, he was just an amazing goal scorer's goal, facilitated by Minta, and then Minta got the assist on the Hinchelwood goal that won the game. So, to me, like, he's like, I'm happy to keep. I think the Brighton fixtures again. The Brighton attack.
Answer the question. If you're replacing Semenyo, would you rather have Bruno G or Minta?
I would rather have Minta.
You'd rather have Minta.
And the reason why is because Bruno, like I said, he's creating a good bit. He's not on set pieces. He's not doing a ton. I was going to say
Newcastle's upcoming schedule.
I was about to say, when I was looking at this, I was like, oh, well, Bruno must have a lot of defensive contributions. He's one of those busy sort of midfielders doing a lot of the dirty work kind of thing. And he's not. He's not that high up on defensive contributions. He just hasn't done it.
Joel Linton does it all.
Right. So this is where, like, I think, do you trust the player? Do you trust Newcastle? I'm less inclined to do that.
Would you rather have Bruno or Mbumo?
I think I'd still rather have Mbumo.
Okay.
I think the genuine attackers, there's still something about that. It's a little bit different. So
Bruno's numbers, even though he's done it over like the last 6 to 7 weeks.
The one you'd have to ask yourself about is it's the other dirty work guys. So do you want Elliot Anderson? Do you want to go to Xhaka, who didn't do it this week, but who has tended to be in that?
Or Paulinho, or Enzo, or Caicedo.
Caicedo was in there for a long time, where Caicedo was doing a lot of that.
Caicedo still, he and Bruno G are now tied, but Caicedo didn't even play this past week.
Right. It's so that because I would have gone the opposite way. I thought Enzo would have sat. Caicedo was going to play
because of the injury. Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was really weird to see that Bruno Guimaraes is up there.
That high. I am shocked by that.
Harvey Barnes obviously scores a great brace. He was hilarious because he just candidly said he didn't think he was. He said, I didn't think I was the most. I don't think I was the most popular guy at halftime because he had missed 2 really great chances in the first half against Manchester City.
Yeah, there were 7 big chances missed total by both Newcastle and City in the first half of that game. Big chances, not chances.
I almost mentioned it last week of just like, I think I'm just going to, since everything just keeps failing, I think I'm just going to buy all the players that I genuinely love and just keep them in my team so that I always have someone to root for. So and Harvey Barnes would be like a first choice.
Absolutely be.
And it would have
own a Harvey Barnes t-shirt.
Yeah, it would have paid off this week. Unfortunately, Anthony Gordon is nearing a return. Gordon might even be back even midweek, so I think that just threatens.
Harv's been hot,
good.
Man. Harv's been hot Harv.
And then Woltemade, people still he's third most transferred in for forwards. I don't know about that. You have him?
I do have him. He hasn't done
You
enough
feel
for
good
me to
about
not.
it?
It's just like, who else you going with? I mean, it's like, if now you have Holland and Thiago, like Voltamont, look at Newcastle's fixtures. There's no red in sight. I just, it's going to be fine.
Right.
Voltamont's going to be fine.
Right. I think that Joao Pedro, I imagine he's still probably the top 3, if not the second most owned forward. It seems to me that has just gone completely the way it should have probably stayed after it faded, but whatever. I imagine a lot of the transfers this week were
Chelsea's schedule.
Probably Pedro.
I would rather own Voltamont than Pedro at this point. Joao Pedro. Chelsea's schedule not as nearly as friendly as Newcastle.
Right. Mateta was a really popular transfer. Thiago makes a lot of sense. There's no reason. I don't see any reason for me. I'm not getting rid of Welbeck. I think the question would be just kind of how you arrange that.
Sure.
Holland, Thiago, Welbeck.
Great.
It was fantastic.
Sure.
And now obviously people buying back in on Callum Wilson again because his career resurgence surely taken off here.
Why not?
Villa's the other one. And the reason why we have to talk about Villa is because of Morgan Rogers. They play Young Boys on Thursday.
The Young Boys. I love that team.
They're defensively, I don't know. I feel like you could pick any of those guys. Matty Cash seems to be still I hesitate to call any of them the best choice. Konzo's 4.4, and then Pau Torres is 4.3. So you could save the most money by going to Pau Torres and just picking the cheapest guy. Nobody has him if you believe in Aston Villa. It's just that they're in form. Like now that it's it has been
Morgan Rogers.
They've figured it out.
Morgan Rogers
much better. It's just you could save yourself the headache and avoid all of the Aston Villa defense. They're still 6th worst for expected goals against. They've conceded 11 real goals. So their XG against is the 6th worst. They are overperforming their expected goals against by over 7.
Yeah.
So they have. I mean, I don't know what to say. They're just massively overperforming, and their defense has not been that good, even despite that. So if you feel like there's going to be a big turnaround, like Luka Dean seemed like a great choice. I might have gone for him even a couple weeks ago. He subbed off at half this week for Matson, who I think. My guess is if you asked Villa fans who they want, they would probably want Matson to start there, but he keeps not starting. So as long as
making mistakes.
Morgan Rogers, 3rd most transferred in among midfielders. It's always going to happen as soon as they hit if anybody gets a brace. Dave, you talked about the free kick. It was really awesome. Since Aston Villa started actually playing this season in game week 6, among midfielders, Morgan Rogers tied with Ryan Sessegnon on 38 points. 8th most points since game week 6. Morgan Rogers.
Ryan Sessegnon has that much?
Ryan Sessegnon. We talked about Ryan Sessegnon when you were gone. I almost bought Ryan Sessegnon.
Whatever.
Saved myself.
Who?
If Ryan Sessegnon, I said this before, if he had been classed as a defender again,
absolutely
would have been in a lot of
absolutely
teams. Since he's classed as a midfielder, not in many teams, and yet you look at the points and you're like, hey, that's actually not a bad
Maybe
amount
they
of
should
points.
have played him in the derby.
What I don't love here is he's not shooting that much. So he has 11 shots, which is fine. 6 shots on target, which is good. Like 6 shots out of 11, whatever, that's fine. Created 7 chances. That's not that many, really, because like the top chance creators are over 20. They're in the teens at least. Like those are the top guys. He's like not anywhere near that. 28 touches in the opposition box is in the top 10, like as a total. But even then, it's like his goal, the free kick goal was his first. That was his one direct free kick that he's taken. He's not on set pieces, as far as we know. He hasn't taken over penalty duties. I don't know what to say about Morgan Rogers. The fixtures are fine for Villa. I just don't know what, like, I guess I'm not really sure why he's, like, what's the rush to to go get him.
It's the reminiscence of last year. That's all.
Make your two
Here
transfers
he
this
is.
week, Morgan Rogers and Mickey Van de Ven. Why not? It might be the best two people in the that you could.
We're going to revisit that next week.
I have no idea. I'm just saying I'm not really sure. It's not like he's just crushing. We just know he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hate it as a transfer. It's just I don't know. Seems odd.
Okay.
Last ones are Nottingham Forest. They're home to Malmo on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Useless.
The first week that Nottingham Forest looked like a believable team, of course, at Anfield. All the
Sean
defenders,
Dyche effect.
all the defenders were awesome. Milankovic,
Sean Dyche effect.
awesome. Finally, we sell noise by himself. Murillo scores the goal, goes for DEFCON, 3 bonus points, finishes with 17. Only as they scored higher than Murillo. This is so Murillo missed most of game week 4. He missed all of game weeks 5 through 7 completely. Murillo had not scored more than 3 points in any match until Liverpool.
Right.
So he goes for 17.
No one can make fantasy defensive players look better than playing Liverpool at this point.
Nico Williams. No one's going to him. He's barely in the top 30 for defensive transfers.
Liverpool Nico Williams.
Assist, DEFCON, 2 bonus points, finishes with a 13.
Wow.
He had gotten 10 against Burnley earlier in the season.
Nico did.
Nico Williams. Otherwise, basically the same as Murillo. He hadn't scored more than 2 in a game this season until Liverpool. Yeah. So that was another one. Nicolo Savona, who scored a goal. He was one of the goal scorers against Liverpool. He's 4.5, 2 goals in his last 3 games. Talk about goal threat.
Savona.
2 in his last 3. He's now out goaling Gabriel.
Savona. You were thinking that, Travis.
Everybody was thinking.
You just didn't want to sing it.
No.
I would say that's nice. You love when your defenders score goals. I don't know anything about him. Better podcast could probably tell you more about Savona. Don't get your hopes up, though. 2 goals. I think you guys can tell me already how many shots on target.
2. The answer's 2.
And how many total shots he
took
shots to get 2 goals out of that. Morgan Gibbs-White, now goals in 3 straight. 8-10.
Now that's interesting.
8-10-8. Credit to whoever it is in my mind that I'm remembering seeing or hearing.
To that guy.
No, you know who it was? It was one of the commentators in a match shortly after Sean Dyche took over to say that he felt like the biggest beneficiary in the attack for Nottingham Forest was going to be Morgan Gibbs-White. He ended up scoring in that game and now has scored in 3 consecutive games.
That's impressive. Now I want to throw this out there. I'm pretty sure he scored the last goal.
It was off of the Jesus deflection. He was perfect. Right place, right time. Put it away. I also think he is the preferred penalty taker. Chris Wood, I guess, is the guy who? He's just been injured for so long.
Not playing. I don't even know who that guy is.
He's not playing.
Anymore.
Premier Injuries has him slated to return on the 30th.
Unknown return date.
Could be next
Premier
week.
League site says that.
I just can't imagine that he's just going to jump back in.
They're not going to not play Igor Jesus.
No, he's been
really good.
Right. And so I just think that but I'm saying Gibbs-White, I think, is your penalty taker there. And he's been good.
Okay.
So I just want to say that is to me, that would be a guy I would want to bring in as a Semenyo replacement.
Gotcha. Okay.
Crystal Palace away to Strasbourg on Thursday also. It's the same. This week, the defenders, Gahey ends up playing, gets just the clean sheet. I think he got a yellow card. Lacroix ends up with an assist, I think. Munoz scores the goal.
He did.
Chris Richards, I think, did he get hurt? I feel like he needed treatment at one point in that game. But basically, again, you couldn't pick wrong. You could only have picked more right. So it's still the same with them. This was such an obvious. Wolves is now very clearly the fixture to target.
Yeah, for sure.
Dean Henderson, I mean, obviously would have been a fine goalkeeper transfer. I don't know really what to say to do with Sarr. Jeremy Pino, great goal. He scored that second goal for them. Looked fantastic.
Yeah.
But Mateta going off at 59 minutes is concerning.
Brutal.
And I don't know that he still would be a easy transfer in given the fixtures because they're still good. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the fixture pileup is going to be tricky. What I was going to say about Arsenal, last thing, is just that in the last, like, for who to bring in for the midfielders, like, Trossard is the highest XG.
I know.
In open play of all the Arsenal midfielders.
And I think he'll be starting the Chelsea match, and he won't be starting in the Champions League.
The only Arsenal midfielder with a higher overall XG is Saka, but that's when you include penalties.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
So non-penalty XG, Trossard is like a 2.58 or something like that since game week 6 or game week 8.
Okay.
I could give you the actual number. I looked this up earlier. You're just gonna have to trust my memory on
I
this.
love that.
But it was Trossard first, Saka second,
Okay.
Eze third, and Eze was right, but Eze and Saka were real close. Declan Rice, the lowest of the three midfielders, but obviously his goal involvement is probably the highest overall, just because of set pieces. And like, we're back to where we were a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure who you pick. Well, like, if I was picking based on just like if you had like gut instinct, who are you taking? I'm like, it's like instant for me that it's Trossard. I just want to know that he keeps the spot. He's been awesome. Awesome.
The only option is if they kick Odegaard in and kick him out.
He hasn't done anything to lose the spot. He will continue to start in the Premier League. Arteta's shown that.
Since game week 6,
he started every match.
3 of the top 4 highest scoring midfielders are Eze, Declan, and Trossard.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Those, I mean, they are just.
But this is from a team that doesn't score, Brian.
Well, look,
they just score set pieces, Brian. This is set piece FC.
Declan Rice is so safe as a pick.
That's true.
One of the boringest, safest picks that you can have as a midfielder, and he still seems really reasonably priced.
Truly, last Arsenal thing here. Even Saka owners got bailed out this week. He had more defensive contributions than anyone else on the team. He had 14, which is shocking.
Yeah,
but you still got bailed out with a 4 if you were a Saka owner this week, even though he did not score or assist in the 4 goals. All right, night moves. Travis, what you got?
Last one, because you didn't cover this, but Chelsea and Barcelona is also.
Oh my gosh,
Tuesday.
That's a massive game. You'd think I would have done that like third.
What do you think Chelsea's going to do in that game? That's actually interesting. We predicted Arsenal. What do you think Chelsea's going to do? I told you my predicted Arsenal lineup.
Chelsea's the deepest team in the world. I think they're going to start.
Yeah.
They're going to start they're going to start A team B.
I think they started a lot of their B team guys
against Burnley.
This week against Burnley in preparation for Barcelona, and I think it's their A team against Barcelona. That's what I think.
Interesting.
Anyways, we talked enough about them, but I just want to bring that up. Night moves. I'm making 0 night moves because I'm
moves.
I'm going to
captaining.
I'm going to save a transfer. So that I have 2 because I have a couple of fires to put out and I can do it more efficiently.
Okay.
2 moves. I'd rather not take a hit this week.
All right.
We've only got 3 more games before your
AFCON. AFCON blitz
bonus.
5 transfers.
Yeah, I need help
Brian,
before then.
I will go before you as you never seem to have answers. I've already transferred in Thiago. I send out Isidore. I said it right, Brian, much to your chagrin.
I'm going to miss that.
And I brought in Thiago. I am tempted. I've been trying to go over this in my mind. Is it worth losing a 10th on Semenyo to not take a hit? So Semenyo currently for me is worth, 7? He's 8-0. Tag on it. That doesn't show me. Hold on a sec. Sorry, wrong. Clicked on the wrong page here. Semenyo, for me, currently, he's worth 7-6, even though to everyone else he's worth 7, or he's worth 8-0 currently. His price was supposed to drop tonight. It didn't. It will probably drop tomorrow.
It will. It's already met the threshold.
So, therefore, he'll drop to 7-9, and then to me, he'll be worth 7-5. I just wonder if that's worth a hit. And if I do take a hit, is it then worth going to like Minta or Bruno? So Bruno Guimaraes. I don't know if it's worth taking a hit on it, or if I just ride it out.
You have the luxury because your score's so good that you can take hits. You should play it more aggressive. For people way down in the table, you got to play.
My current team value is, I think, at least a 103.
No one cares about that. That doesn't help you get points.
It gives you.
I know what it does.
I'm just you in the second half of the season.
I'm just not anymore with the AFCON transfers. Not really, because you're gonna dump a bunch of that.
Not only that, I think there's still so many viable 5-point something midfielders that you can always drop to somebody useful. Elliot Anderson, an amazing game. Elliot Anderson has not had less than
Best
10
player.
DEFCON points, and I know I hate it, and I still hate it, but and he didn't hit the DEFCON threshold in a lot of those games, so he went to 11. I know a lot of people were really disappointed with that. He's not owned that much. He still is. I mean, that was one of the things everybody talked about. He is on set pieces. I think he got an assist this week. He did hit defensive contributions, so he ends up with a really good score. But Elliot Anderson is one of those guys where it's like, man, like, you can always go to someone like that. It feels like there are 7 players like that that you can kind of pick where you're like, yeah, that guy can get it done almost any week. I wouldn't do it.
Travis, are you captaining Holland?
Yeah, I think against Leeds at home, that's a
home Leeds. I'm definitely captaining Holland. I've already heard some people league. Diana said, "Hey, I'm probably going to triple captain this week." Brian, did you mention to me that you might consider triple captaining Holland this week?
As soon as you saw Leeds, as soon as you see home Manchester City to fill in the blank, it automatically becomes a captain choice. But home to Leeds,
are you going to do it? Triple?
I'm not sure.
Chicken.
I mean, it's just a
when
question.
Else are you gonna
that's
do
exactly
it?
It's the question of when else.
What
other fixtures are worth it? And
match week 23.
Quit being such a chicken.
Match week 23.
He's got to use it before match week 19.
Yeah.
Oh wait, why?
You get them too. You get 2 of them.
You get two triples.
I didn't know that.
You get 2 of everything.
I didn't read the rules.
You got a free hit.
Home to West Ham in.
You got a free hit that you can use that no one's used yet.
That's the other issue that everyone likes to bring up. Everybody gets real cautious when they say, like, well, if you're going to use it now, you should, because you don't know that you can't guarantee his health. I mean, you're like, well, West Ham, home against West Ham probably is better than, might be better than home against Leeds. No, this is probably as good of a chance. Obviously, Sunderland at home for them on December 6th is.
I don't like that better than Leeds.
It's green, but Leeds is objectively better.
Yes.
So it would be Leeds home, West Ham home. If you were really smart, you would have captained Eberechi as this or triple captain Eberechi.
Yeah.
Nobody's that smart.
So no, I'm not sure what to tell you, Dave.
I don't seen it coming, Travis.
I don't think I would take a hit to lose Semenyo.
No.
Unless your lineup this week.
No, it's fine. I can get by with it. It's fine.
You can play a normal lineup. I wouldn't take a hit.
So I would end up having to play Calafiori at Chelsea.
This could be interesting.
So if I bring Semenyo in, if I sell Semenyo and take a hit, I just don't love my options.
You have garbage on the rest of your bench.
Well, no, I have Neto and Cucurella. I'm not playing against Arsenal.
Why would you not play Neto instead of Semenyo?
No,
just bench Semenyo, play Neto.
No, I'm not playing.
If anybody's going to score against Arsenal, it's Neto.
No one's scoring against him this week.
You're crazy.
They have to uphold the other end of my bet. I said they would get at least 1 clean sheet against Spurs, and it took a freaking worldie.
More committed to his bet than he is to
It took a worldie against we didn't even cover that, but Richarlison.
Yeah, Richarlison's goal was really excellent. Yeah.
From half midfield. Anyways, all right.
The answer to
I'm going to captain Holland. Brian, you're captaining.
The answer to your question, Dave, is I have Semenyo, I have Gabriel, I have 2 transfers. I need to move one or both or even 3 people.
You need Eze and you need
I also have Reece James. That did not help me. It would have been fantastic to have Reece James playing the full match, and he didn't. And I just did not. I guess I just didn't think that him playing for England would matter that much.
Shame on you.
Clearly, they are managing him in a way that is now affecting his league minutes, and I earned that one. I earned that one pointer.
All right.
So I've got a minimum of 2, if not 3 people. Also, they're playing home to Arsenal, like you said. Probably not going to be starting him anyway this week. So looking at, I do like Nico O'Reilly. I think that's legitimately good. I could go, I still have the money for Timber.
Okay.
So if I really wanted to do the Arsenal defensive double up, this is the time. If I wanted to do the triple up and go actually buy Trossard and actually do that.
You don't own an Arsenal midfielder?
Do not own an Arsenal midfielder. So Declan is in play now.
Is they in play over Trossard or Rice? Question mark?
I don't
know.
No, I think it could be.
Okay.
I have enough money because Gabriel was so expensive, and because Semenyo, I'm selling him I got him at a 7.3.
Okay.
So I can still, that was why I was saying I could lose a 10th. I still don't lose that money gained on him. No, Eze's a great pick. I just think now, Eze is now.
I think statistically, if you're playing Moneyball, you go with Trossard and or Rice.
Right.
But eyeball will tell you Eze, and recency bias will tell you Eze.
Right. And I think Nottingham Forest, I think for real, other than Manchester City on game week 18, Nottingham Forest fixtures, it's Brighton, Wolves, Everton, Spurs, Fulham. They have that same run of playable fixtures in there, and Nottingham Forest has picked it up.
Morgan Gibbs White could be an issue.
I like Morgan Gibbs White as a pick. So
okay. I like that.
Yeah. And then I don't know how I won't captain Holland. This is not a week. Last week, in the end decided I could totally go against
this week's a no-brainer.
I don't think so.
Agree.
Yeah.
Totally. All right. Gentlemen, well done. We covered way more probably Travis than we should have. We dove deep into the Liverpool back room. And if you want to find out what Liverpool life is about, you better listen earlier in this pod. For the FPL America podcast, this is David Smith. Until next time.